Intro. A little about money and a lot about people. I had never written about money before, and maybe that's exactly why I ended up doing it. Because this is not a traditional finance book. You don't find investment advice, budgeting templates, or saving strategies in the pages ahead. What you will find are questions, stories, moods, and maybe a moment of recognition that helps you see your money in a new light. When I began writing, I had no plan, just a feeling that money means more than we think, just not necessarily in the ways we're used to. Throughout my working life, I've gathered some experiences that stuck with me. In a large organization where I was one of many department heads, we all worked with nearly identical financial conditions, and yet the outcomes we created were strikingly different. Some barely managed to keep things afloat, while others somehow pulled off major projects and achieved far more than the budget should have allowed. The same financial framework, in different hands, produced wildly different possibilities. That left an impression on me, and it echoed something I had already noticed among my friends, how some people always seem to struggle financially, while others always manage to stay on top, even though their incomes are more or less the same. As my interest in money deepened, I started digging further. I became curious about ideas like mental accounting, circular finances, and a more ecological approach to finances. I discovered that there is, in fact, a more holistic, even human way of thinking about money and its role in our lives, and that sparked something in me. Yes, finances are about money, but just as much about the people managing it. And when you look a little closer, it becomes clear that behavior and psychology play a central role. That realization became the driving force behind this book. The four voices in the back of my mind. As I wrote, I realized I wasn't alone. Among many, four voices in particular inspired me, each in their own field that made discoveries that resonate deeply. The first voice belonged to Brené Brown. She reminded me that many of us carry shame about not having our finances under control, shame about not being able to save, to pay back debt, to invest wisely, shame about feeling poor even when it doesn't seem rational. She said that vulnerability is courage, and I came to see that just looking our finances in the eye without making excuses takes courage. The second voice was Morgan Housel. He wrote that money isn't about math, it's about psychology. He helped me realize that I, and maybe you too, often act with money based on emotions, stories, hopes, and habits. Not because we're foolish, but because we're human. He opened my eyes to this insight. My finances are not just a spreadsheet, they're a story about me. The third voice was Vicki Robin. She asked, "What are you trading your life for?" That hit home. She reminded me that money isn't just a medium of exchange, it's life energy, time, freedom. And that if we're not careful, we may end up trading away what truly matters for things we don't actually need. She showed me that financial awareness isn't about restriction or limitation, it's about possibility. And then there was Kate Northrup. She said, "Your relationship with money reflects your relationship with yourself." She spoke of self-worth, of what you might call loving accountability, not with harshness and spreadsheets, but with gentleness and clarity. She asked what we allow ourselves, and whether we even believe we have the right to feel financially safe, even if we don't get everything right. These four voices didn't write this book, but they helped set the tone and the mood. Maybe they'll form a backdrop alongside my own experiences and your reflections for the journey you're about to begin. At the end of the book, you'll find an appendix with brief profiles of these four thought leaders, along with 6 others I'll refer to later. What can you get out of reading this book? You'll get new words and images for how you relate.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?